Unbelievable. I've been sitting here for the past 10 minutes talking to the camera, and you guys were not seeing it. And I'm sorry for that. I'm asking questions and talking about things, and nobody's responding, and I'm like, what is going on here? And then I realized you're not getting the feed. Everything, all my instruments say that I'm live, including an excellent connection, except there's no signal going out. So I had to fix that. And I'm here now. Sorry for the delay, folks. I apologize. I worked on my computer, which is about half as tall as I am and about 300 pounds and about 30 wires hanging out of the back of it going to various things like that. And it takes a little bit of effort, and everything's out of whack. And I just didn't have enough time to get set up right. And then my light died. And it's just been a rough start today. But here we are on a Wednesday night, live streaming, Untethered Live, coming straight to you. I'm Jake Johnson, and this is Wednesday night. And let me go back up the chat real quick because I got to do all this all over again. Surprise Wednesday stream, or did I miss something? Either way, heck yeah. Hi, everyone. Not a surprise. We've been doing this for the past 5 years, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, every week. But I'm glad you're catching on. And I'll see you next Wednesday. Stuffing my face with a bit of rice and peanut Thai chicken. After my 10-hour days, I got to get some grub on. Sounds interesting. I've never had Thai food. Is it any good? I don't know. I had an egg sandwich with a piece of sausage on top. That's what I ate for dinner. Bubby Watt says, hey, what's up, Jake? Sorry I haven't been in the last couple of streams. My sleep schedule is screwed up still. That's all right, buddy. I understand you're a college man and you got things going on. But you are a wrench, so, you know, if you can make it, make it. And if you can't, I understand. I appreciate you. And we miss you. We thought about you. We even asked about you. Lisa Reen says, we can wait a few minutes for you. No sweat. Well, thank you, Lisa Reen. I apologize for the delay. I did not know I wasn't streaming until just now. Until you said, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't I be? Apparently, I'm having trouble being seen. Okay, we got it fixed. Lisa Reen says, hey, Bubby Watts. Yes, we noticed, and yes, we missed you. Bubby Watts says, yep. I've just been having problems with my sleep schedule. I understand that. It's annoying. Yes, it is. Lisa Reen says, well, you're here now, so that's great. That's why I thought I was live. And then a few minutes go by, and then you ask, are you all right, Jake? Suspicious. The government's out to get me. April says, he's running a bit late. Or he's running a bit behind. His bell will ring, or your bell will ring when he is in the stream. Well, thank you for that, April. And I apologize. I didn't know I wasn't here. And then I asked, I am streaming. Can you see me? Am I not live right now? Apparently not. There we go, says Bubby Watts. Come on now, says Lisa Reen. And April says, woo, hello, everybody. Then there's a Fab Daddy. Fab Daddy says it was a great start. It was a great start. It just 10 minutes late. Sorry. What kind of questions? Any kind you want. You ask it, I'll answer it. April says, Fab Daddy, Bubby Wise, Lisa Ring, Jake, good to see y'all, love. Good to see you too, sweetheart. Fab Daddy says, I had food poisoning on Monday. That's terrible. Do you still have it? What did you do with it? Where did you put it? It's not good to have food poisoning. April says, that's scary, Fab Daddy. Bubby Watt says, gonna go get some food. Get me some too while you're at it. Bubby Watt says, hi, April. How are you doing today? I got to rewatch the Bible studies. Yep. Well, they're there. You can watch them. You can watch them on Rumble, or you can watch them on YouTube, or you can watch them on Spotify, or Amazon, or Google, or iHeartRadio if you just want to listen to it, or Podvine, or Outcast, CastBox. Pretty much anywhere that you can get a download of a podcast, you can find it. So check it out. The main one is Spotify, Amazon, and Google, though. You can find them there. Fab Daddy says, I felt much better after praying to the porcelain. Horrible. Everyone must be fine and alive. Yay, says April. Well, we're alive. Fine is debatable. I'm a solid 6 if there ever was one. I've got a lot of charisma. I just ain't got nothing to back it up. What's that Willie Nelson said? When you're ugly, you got to be twice as cool. Yep. April says, I'm fine and alive. Thanks for asking. I'm glad you're alive. And I'm glad you're fine. And you are fine. Fine as a frog's hair. So, what have I noticed this week? Well, let me tell you. I noticed that the movie The Sound of Freedom, which is about child sex trafficking and starring Jim Caviezel, based on a true story about a real man who quit working for Homeland Security and started his own firm to save sex-trafficked children from their current position, outdid by an order of magnitude the movie Indiana Jones 5, starring Harrison Ford and Phoebe Waller-Bridge, opening weekend. The narrative is broken. People are not paying attention anymore to the nonsense woke ideology that's being shoved down everyone's throats, and they are beginning to see that there are other things going on in the world. Now, the left actually hates this. The same people who praised the Netflix movie Cuties, which prominently features 13-year-olds in stripper poses and wearing skimpy outfits, they praised that movie. They're calling Sound of Freedom the QAnon movie, which it has nothing to do with QAnon. But QAnon did notice that trafficking was happening, so they're equating the two. They're conflating the two. But the box office don't lie, baby. People went to see the heavy movie, not the supposedly fun movie, which wasn't very fun. I watched it. I did see Indiana Jones. I have not seen Sound of Freedom, so I don't know all the details. But I've heard that it's a fantastic movie, and as soon as I can get a good copy of it, I'm going to watch it. But I did see Indiana Jones 5, and it's garbage. It's hot garbage. The whole movie, which is almost 3 hours long, is not as fun as the first 5 minutes of the first one. I'm just saying. The narrative is broken. Fab Daddy says, I put up 2 shorts of my hike yesterday. I'll have to check that out, Fab Daddy. Congratulations on your hike and your videos. April says, thanks, Jake, LOL. You're welcome, all right. Nice roses. Fab Daddy says, very uncharacteristic of me, but it was an adventure that I will never undertake again. Well, I know how you feel about having content and the lack thereof, so it must have been interesting. I'll definitely check it out because you don't put up a lot of videos, so I'm on it. I'll watch it, and if it's any good, I'll share it. Bubby Watt says, oh, Jake, I saw the new Indiana Jones, and I liked the movie up until a point. It got really stupid at one point. Yes, it did. The whole middle of the movie, like for 30 minutes, is one car chase, which follows a train chase and precedes a plane chase. You see a pattern here? And, oh, by the way, Indiana Jones is a grumpy old drunk who's getting divorced, whose son has recently died. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge is goddaughter, who, for a lack of a better word, I'll describe as she has a face like the side of a mountain and a personality like a matchstick. Is always telling him his business. This is Indiana Jones, world-renowned adventurer, professor of archaeology, and she's correcting him every other word and knows things he don't know and puts things together he didn't put together and finds things with ease that it takes him forever to find and climbs a mountain without even breaking a sweat while he's struggling to get up it because he's old and tired. And then she punches him in the face and does the exact opposite of what his wishes are when he thinks he's dying. And then she butts in and becomes a hero and saves his marriage for him. This doesn't sound like an Indiana Jones movie to me. Now, I might be wrong. I might be biased. I might be jaded. I might be a little old school. But isn't Indiana Jones supposed to be fun? That's the music. Da, 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 da. This is supposed to be fun. There's nothing fun in this movie. There's not one fun scene. Every scene is subverted. It looks fun until you see the details. Like the Mexican short round kid. Why not just get Ke Huy Quan back in the movie? I mean, he just won an Oscar for Everything All at Once. Everywhere, everything, everywhere, all at once. He's an Oscar winner. Why not get him in the movie? It'll raise the box office. No, let's get the skinny Mexican kid who has no business stealing and being appropriated by an adult. That's Phoebe Waller-Bridge, the Fleabag girl. I don't see her replacing Indiana Jones, and that's the plan, for her to replace Indiana Jones. I would rather they just let the franchise die at 3 movies. Not 4, because the other one was kind of sucky too. But it was at least better than this. It was at least watchable. Fab Daddy says, I was referring to my hike. Never again to that spot. Yeah, I got what you were saying, Fab Daddy. April says, I thought so. Yeah, it's a terrible movie. Bubby Watt says, I think the movie had good moments. It did have good moments, but then they were subverted by crappy moments. And that underpins the good moment in a way that it makes it not good anymore. Like Indiana Jones looks around and sees the battle that's going on, and he sees Archimedes in the past. He travels through time and is in the past, and he says, I'm home. I got a bullet in my chest. I want to stay here. And Phoebe says, you can't stay here. We got to go back. He says, I'm done. I want to stay here. He makes it emphatic. He wants to stay in the place he's dreamed about his whole life. And her answer to that, which is no longer a good moment, is she punches him in the face and takes him back anyway. And then butts into his marriage problems. Kind of hard to enjoy that. But it did have good moments. Maybe Carmen Santiago? Where in the world is Carmen Santiago? San Diego? I think it's San Diego. But it may be. Anyway, Indiana Jones made less. I think the number was 50 million. Million, not billion, million at the box office. It's the opening weekend. I think the number was 50. It may have gone up since then, but the last time I looked, it was at about 50 million. And The Sound of Freedom made 80 million. And it is done by a faith-based studio, a small studio The only thing it's known for is releasing that show, The Chosen. You ever see that? It's the Mormon Jesus show, The Chosen. That's the only thing this studio has released. That's the only thing they've done. And their movie beat Indiana Jones in the opening weekend. I think somebody's trying to vote with their dollar, and I think they're saying it loudly. We don't want this garbage in our movies anymore. Just write a good story. You don't have to destroy every franchise. You don't have to destroy childhood heroes. Make your own heroes. Invent your own stories and tell them. You don't have to change Ariel. What's the name of that movie? The Mermaid? Little Mermaid? The Little Mermaid? You don't have to change her ethnicity. Make your own mermaid movie. First of all, they whitewashed that movie except for the main characters. They're in a Caribbean island and everybody's white and stupid. Except for the mermaid people who are black. Not Islander or Pacific Islander. Black. We're not in Jamaica. We're in the islands. Like as in the Caribbean islands. Something's wrong here. MVTV, what's up, buddy? April says, well said, Jake. Sorry, Kevin called to see where I was. I understand. MVTV says, also beat Indiana Jones with a hell of a lot less theaters. Yes, yeah. Also, they were only in a few theaters. Indiana Jones was in 4,800 theaters. I can't remember how many The Sound of Freedom was in, but it was nowhere near that number. They hired all the big, what is it, IMAX, and there's another one that like mists you in the face when you're watching a movie and stuff. Can't think of what it's called, DX or something like that. Anyway, they took all those theaters out and all the main chains. They put Indiana Jones everywhere. 4,800 theaters across America. That's 4,800 theaters. And still could not beat a small independent movie with a B-list actor. Amazing. April says, thank you. That's the truth. Preach it. Hi, MVTV. Much love. MVTV says, hi, April. And over to Kevin, too. So, anyway, I'm excited to see what this is going to teach Hollywood, or if it, in fact, will teach them anything. It seems to me that they're beginning to make movies again. Like, you got Top Gun Maverick. You've got Sound of Freedom. You've got the stuff that the Daily Wire is putting out. You know, those little movies that they've been putting out, like, what was it? Fight, Run, Hide, I think was the name of one of them. And the other one, I can't remember the names of them. It's been a while. But they're doing good quality movies that they're not particularly political. They're just not woke. You know, they're just movies. They're good stories. There's a few people beginning to make stories again. A few TV shows are doing it, but not enough. This has been going on for way too long. This started in 2010 and ramped up to 2023, and we're sick of it. We don't want it anymore. We're going to stop going to movies if you don't change your ways, Hollywood. We can get our entertainment right here on YouTube. We don't need you. I'll make a movie for you. How about that? We'll crowdfund it and everything. MVDV says, I saw 65. Now that is on Netflix. I really wanted to like it. It had its moments, but overall, so formulaic that it just didn't move my meter. Yeah, I haven't seen it because I saw the previews, and then I heard people talking about it, and I realized what it was. And it's a cash grab that does not deliver. It promises a lot, but it don't deliver. It's just a jump scare movie. That's it. You barely ever even see the big monster. And the actors aren't that good. And the story is almost unrecognizable. So I didn't watch that movie. I have it. I just haven't watched it because it just does not appeal to me. And I wanted to like it too because that's right up my alley. That's the kind of thing I like. Sci-fi, you know, ancient stuff. They could have done a lot with it. They didn't do it. April says they're playing 80s movies to Footloose with Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon is back. LOL, I love it. Cool. Who's playing 80s movies? You said they are playing 80s movies. Who are they? MVTV says no surprises. Telegraphed what would happen. And oh, yay, another freaking kid in distress, right? A female who's the key to everything. Yeah. They've got one note, and they strike it constantly, and it's exhausting. I used to want to see every movie that was ever made. I put a big dent in movies. Ask April. I sometimes watched 8 movies a day in my youth. I love movies. I love movie making. I love the whole experience. I love special effects and camera tricks and directorial flair and acting. I love it all. I tapped out about 2010. I couldn't do it. I could not keep watching this drivel. It was making me mad to watch movies because I would watch a movie that just came out and say, I swear I know everything they're going to say. I've seen this movie before. It's a brand new movie, but I swear I've seen it. The characters are different, but the words are the same. It's the same movie. I've seen it like 10 times. It's just too much. And there's too many movies. They're making too many movies too fast, and they're paying way too much money. My advice, here's my thoughts on the subject. Whoever invented CGI should be shot in the forehead to start with. Get rid of CGI, or at least use it tastefully, like to fill in a background or to fill in an effect. But bring back miniatures, bring back model makers, bring back people who make makeup, silicone, real people in monster outfits, and bring back film. You can't call it a film if you film it on a DV system. If it's digital, it's not film. Film is magical. It rolls at 30 frames per second, which is exactly what your eye does, which gives it that shimmery glow, that magical sparkle that 35 millimeter frame can do, or film can do. Digital can't create that. There's no filter you can run that'll give it that slightly blurry, slightly Vaseline look. You can't get that from a digital camera. I know it's cheaper, but it ain't better. And just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. For example, there's a reason we don't have flying cars, because the reality of that is that people would be flying those cars, and there would be lots and lots and lots of death because people can't fly. Very few people can master a machine that will allow them to fly. But most people are in a hurry and they're not paying attention, and it's going to kill everybody, which is why we don't have flying cars. Despite what they keep promising, we're never going to have flying cars. We're never going to have driverless cars, because that's even more scary, because then nobody's paying attention, for sure. And we're never going to have another good movie unless people take the Quentin Tarantino approach and make the movie in camera, which is what we all want to see instinctively. We want to go back to the 80s because the 80s made the best movies. Because they used cameras, not digital computers. They used special effects that it took skill and effort to make, and talent. They didn't do it in a plug-in in, Final Cut Pro. Adobe After Effects can do a lot of things. It does not look as good as a squib. A bullet shot from Adobe After Effects does not look good as a squib. that blows up out of somebody's chest. I know it's not realistic. I know that's not what happens when you get shot for real. But it looks good on film. Watch John Wick if you don't believe me. And all of their shots are digital. But they managed to make it look good. Which kind of goes against my argument. But my point stands. MVTV said, April says, movies where I live. Oh, the cinema where you live is showing Footloose. I got it. I understand you now. MVTV says, like Strange New Worlds, I want them to get eaten by a giant space monster, fight some aliens, or actually go to a strange new world. Odd, isn't it, that a show called Strange New Worlds has so far in 2 seasons redone everything that the original series did, including locations and people. Not once have they went to a strange new place and did a strange new thing with a strange new alien. It's all been rehashes. You know why? Because evil cannot create. It goes back to the Bible, as all things do with me, you know, right? Good is God, and God created all of this, and he created art, and he created the mind to expand and learn and grow and be creative and produce beauty. Evil wants what God has, and that's the devil, and he wants to be God. There's just one problem. Evil can't create anything of its own. So all it can do is tempt and subvert and take and corrupt and change and race swap and gender swap and take other people's stories and throw them into movies. That's all they can do. Everything Akiva Goldsman, the guy who show runs Strange New Worlds, everything he has ever made, go back and look at his IMDb. Akiva Goldsman has made a career off of using already existing properties and revamping them for the future. Everything he's ever done. He's the guy that's responsible for bat nipples on the bat suit in Batman 3, the one with George Clooney. Might have been 4, I can't remember. He's responsible for that movie. He wrote that movie and directed it. He's responsible for a lot of Hollywood flops, and yet they get promoted upwards instead of getting fired, like Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm. Everything she has created since she took over at Disney has been a flop. Solo, Rogue One, Star Wars 7, 8, 9, Indiana Jones 5. All of it has been garbage, and she's still getting jobs instead of getting fired, which is what she deserves. Be nice if they'd actually fight some aliens or go to strange new worlds that don't look like a cheap imitation of the Star Wars cantina, right? MVDV says, uninterested in so many movies. Netflix and Amazon Prime. Scroll. Nah, no way. Nope. Maybe me. Me too. 90% of it, I mean, you really have to look to find something good on those platforms. 90% of it is woke nonsense, ideology, brainwashing, propaganda. Very, very little of it is actually good movie stuff. And you have to really be interested to find it because you got to scroll for days to get to it. And you don't even know what you're looking for. You got to read every synopsis and go, nope, that's trash. Nope, that's trash. Oh, this looks promising. Oh, no, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is in it. That's trash. Guess what Phoebe Waller-Bridge is doing next? The next big project. You'll never guess what it is. Tomb Raider. She's going to ruin that franchise next. Can you imagine Phoebe Waller-Bridge as Tomb Raider, or even writing Tomb Raider? Think about it. The girl you saw in Indiana Jones 5. That's the new Tomb Raider. Bubby Watt says, just got back from getting food. What'd you get? Caucasian Sasquatch. What's up, buddy? Creativity is dead in Hollywood. Yes, it's dead almost everywhere. There's a reason that the old days was called the Renaissance, because that's when we were renaissancing. We're not doing it anymore. Now we're subverting and destroying and race swapping and gender swapping. It's exhausting. Listen, some things need to be said, and I'm going to wait until Friday to say them. However, I have a show Friday. So, Rumble is going to be on Saturday and not Friday. So, everybody listen up. I'll put it in the community chat so that everybody can see it after the show. I have a show Friday, so my Friday show will be on Saturday because I can't be in two places at one time, and that has money attached to it, and I got to go get some money because I'm broke. Broke as a spoke, taking a toke until I choke. Anyway, having a stroke. Anyway, Saturday, I'm going to say some things that need to be said. Some stuff that the world needs to hear. You don't want to miss it because I am fired up. You think you've ever heard me rant before? Wait till you get a load of this. It's going to be strange. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be triggering. It's going to offend some people. But some things need to be said. And I'm going to say it on Rumble. Not here because I'll get censored here. I didn't say he directed it. I said he wrote it. I may have said he directed it, but he wrote it. Look for the name Akiva Goldsman, and you'll see it. Maybe he was an executive producer, but he wrote that show. He's the guy that came up with those ideas. MVTV says, interesting. Evil cannot create, eh? Makes sense. Although it can sure use rotten souls to make a lot of garbage, from ideologies to snuff films. Yeah, but none of it's original. You ever notice that? All things that evil does is unoriginal. All they do is latch on to other people's work, other people's ideas, other people's suffering, other people's moments. They don't make it themselves. They destroy it for other people. And Joel Schumacher did direct that Batman movie, but Akiva Goldsman wrote it. Oh, that's you, Caucasian Sasquatch. Nod, wave, toss of pizza slices. Oops. April says, okay. April says, Caucasian, much love. Bubba Watt says, you did say he directed it, LOL. I may have slipped. I'm on a roll. But I do know that Joel Schumacher directed that movie. But Akiva Goldsman is the guy who came up with the bat nipples, which is what I was trying to say at the time. And I may have said he directed it, but I meant he wrote it. Check me out. Keep me straight. That's your job. I appreciate that. MVTV says, Saturday, circle date, note, fired up as... Got it. Yeah, I'm a little hot under the collar about this nonsense world that I can't live in anymore because I'm old school. In the old days, we called ourselves dinosaurs, or they did, the people that grew up into our generation and got old. Me growing up into Gen Z's generation, I don't fit. I'm a square peg in a round hole. And this is my world. I helped build it. They are loafing in it. They didn't help build anything. Except maybe Netflix. But go have your Netflix and leave the rest of my world alone. Stop telling me things that I know ain't true and then forcing me to capitulate. It's not going to happen. Join me Saturday for the real get down, baby, because I'm going to break my foot off in your ass. America. That's what's happening. How you like to fire it up me? Where'd you go, Lizarine? Did I scare you off? April says, right on, LOL. I'm excited. Yep, me too. I can't wait. I've been thinking about it all week. I'm going to lay it down. And I'm going to begin. I'm going to begin just like Stephen King's most infamous beginning in a book. I'll let you remember or decide what the book is, because I can't remember. All I can think of is A Tale of Two Cities, and that's not it. That's not Stephen King either. And it was the best of times and the worst of times. And then, suddenly they call me Ishmael pops into my head. That's not it either. I can't remember the book, but the phrase is, "You officious little prick." That's the beginning of that book, the one I can't remember. And I'm going to start my podcast that way Saturday. So you can imagine who I'm talking to and what kinds of things I'll be saying after that, because that's soft by comparison. MVTV says, "I'm mad as hell and I ain't going to take it no more." You got to say it right. Can't say I'm not. It's I ain't gonna. But I'm with you. April says, "Sometimes they come back." Bubby Watt says, "Network?" I don't know what you're talking about. April, I don't know what you're talking about either. MVTV says, "Yep, network." Oh, you're quoting a movie line. Got it. Network. "I'm mad as hell and I ain't going to take it no more." I was quoting Charlie Daniels Band, so maybe you did say it right. ATL, what's up, buddy? "I need people to Google Amberton Community Club and leave bad reviews on how dirty it is." I've never been to Amberton Community Club, but I will Google it for you. Bubby Watt says, "I have to watch that movie." Network, is that the one with Andrew Bullock in it? No, Sandra Bullock. Very outdated for its time, but still a great movie, if it's the one I'm thinking of. And ATL says, "And hello." Hello, ATL. MVDV says, "But actually, was me muttering a few hours ago when replacing a blade on a riding lawnmower. It's not. I is not a mechanic. I is no mechanic. I is not no mechanic." I hear you. April says, "Hi, ATL love." Caucasian says, "Sometimes they come back as a movie." Oh, okay. April says, "It's a Stephen King movie. Sometimes they come back." Is that the one that begins with "You officious little prick"? Is that what you're saying? I can't remember. I've read it, but I don't remember which book it is. Anyway, I think it was made in the 70s, says Bubby Watts. ATL says, "Hello, Caucasian Sasquatch." Bubby Watts says, "Hey, ATL." ATL says, "Bubby." MVTV says, "I recently saw a review retrospective on Sometimes They Come Back. Remember that as a kid. Not bad, if thinking of the same one." Caucasian says, ATL. I've seen that movie, Sometimes They Come Back. I just can't remember what it's about right off. There's so many Stephen King movies. I know I've seen it, but all I can think of is The Langoliers, or The Stand, or, Christine, or whatever. Only man that could write a book about a car and make it scary. He was the business back in the 80s. Everybody was talking about Stephen King. My mom loved him. She read all of his books. And Richard Bachman, too, which is probably his wife's writing. And he just, I don't know. It may have been him. Who knows? I think his wife was writing, though. Correct me, Caucasian. You read more than I do. You read more volume. I read more substance. MVTV says, oh, not the one I was thinking of. Maybe have to see that. What's it about? Sometimes they come back. You might have been thinking about Silver Bullet. That was a good movie. Stephen King. Kind of Stephen King. I think it was a short story that somebody adapted. There's another movie or two that were short stories that he wrote for like a magazine that somebody adapted into movies. I can't think of what they are right now, but they were good movies in their own right. Creep Show being one of them. Remember that Creep Show where the guy was in the woods and he touched a meteorite and it turned into moss, turned into the Swamp Thing? That was Stephen King. That was actually him doing the acting too. All I can remember about that movie, though, is that platform out in the middle of that pond with the oil slick that would eat people, because my aunt had a pond just like it with a platform just like it, and they used to put us on it and put us out in the water, and all I could do was think about that oil slick coming up and getting us. ATL says, yup. MVTV says, if you haven't read the extended version of The Stand, you're missing about 1,000 pages cut from the regular release. I've never read The Stand. It's too thick. I saw the movie, though. Both of them. It's about the bullies who killed the one brother, and he grew up, and they did come back. I think I remember that. Is that the one where the boy's hair turns white? What am I thinking of? There's a bully in a movie. No, that's it. Never mind. Never mind. I've seen so many movies, they all kind of run together at some point. I've seen movies that I don't even remember that I saw until I see them again, and I'm like, I've seen this. Funny enough, though, I see movies that are brand new that I swear I've seen before and can tell you every word they're going to say before they say it, because I've seen the movie before. The actors are different, but the movie's the same. Go figure. I think they recycle scripts in Hollywood. That's part 2. Got it. Yeah, I think you're right. How many sequels did it have? Does anybody know? MVTV says, I knew I was hooked on King when I read a scene from Maximum Overdrive. That's another one of those short stories that was put into a movie where machines come to life and ain't very nice. Of a Coke machine rolling down a road with blood and guts from hitting people. Oof. There's a lot of cocaine involved in that movie, too. A lot of cocaine. Hey, man, I got an idea. Let's take these semi-trucks and make them evil and put a face on them and have a battle. Sounds like a great idea. Let's start a business. Gotta go, Jake. I'm getting tired and I should probably sleep right now. Hopefully, it'll fix my schedule. Good night, Bubby Watts. I love you. Thanks for being here. Get some rest. Saw some logs and dream about naked women. I guess Lisa Reen bailed on us. She hadn't said anything in quite a while. Diego, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Been a while. I'm glad you dropped in. Nice to see a familiar face. I don't know your name, but your fez is familiar. What movie's that? Come on, somebody knows that movie. Whew. It has been an interesting day for sure. Everything that can go wrong has gone wrong. And here we are, doing right. It feels so right. How you been, Diego? What's up? What's new with you? Boys and girls, be sure to check me out on Saturday night this week on Rumble. That's rumble.com/UntetheredLive. Because some things need to be said, and I'm going to say them loudly and angrily. And you're not going to want to miss it because it's going to be fantastic. I'm going to tear everybody down. Everybody. April says, hi, Diego. Good to see you, love. You don't call, you don't write. I think you're over there laying in a ditch dead somewhere. How you been doing? Anyway, while we're thinking about movies, think about love. Think about friendship. Think about money. Think about turkey. Think about hitting that subscribe button and pressing the bell icon so you get notifications of when I'm going to be online. Smash that like button. It's free. It's right in front of you. It's effortless, and it really does help the channel with the algorithm. So won't you do that, please? Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into the family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of their solutions, not part of their problems. Leave comments down below and let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform with me, drink my Kool-Aid. Make your own Kool-Aid as long as you're thinking critical. That's what I want. Critical thought coming from that brain of yours. And hey, if you dig what I'm doing and you can see the value in what I'm trying to create here and you'd like to help out, be part of something special, help me keep the lights on around here, you can do that. You can support my work by going to paypal.me/jakejohnsonband, or if you're a CashApp user, you can go to $JakeJohnsonBand. Every little bit helps. It's a win-win. It's a blessing to me, and it's a blessing to you too, because God notices these things. Now, I will do everything in my power to be worthy of that support and answer all of your questions and comments, as I'm doing right now. Welcome back. Thank you for that brief respite. Dana, you came in just in time. How are you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the show. We're talking about movies and such. MVTV says, trouble with Saturday, I think, is that you're speaking to the choir. Like, same minds here. You need loudspeakers from the top of buildings, and not barns in the middle of nowhere. Well, that's why I'm on Rumble, because people will inevitably watch those videos. And even though I'm preaching to the choir, it still needs to be said. And nobody's saying it, or very few people are saying it. So I'm going to be one of them. And maybe people will like the video. That's really what it's all about. I mean, in this day and age, everybody gets in a little bubble somewhere and surrounds themselves with people they like to listen to. Hopefully you're one of those people listening to somebody you like to listen to, in which case I'm going to say things you like to hear or already think, because that's how bubbles work. Now, what's the good in that? The possibility that all people can come watch the video, whether they like me or not, whether they agree with me or not, and the possibility that the message will get out and be heard by millions and millions of people over time. That's why. Because even if you agree with me, somebody might not, and they might need to hear what I got to say. That's why we do it. But you're right. I am preaching to the choir, and I know that. But you're still going to come and support me, because without this, it's just another Saturday night. Who wants to do that? This is the funnest place on earth. Nobody's having more fun than we are. Nobody. Nobody. This is the place to be. All the cool kids are doing it. April says, hello, Dana. Good to see you, love. Dana says, heart prayers. April says, LOL, I love bubbles. Me too. MVTV says, good thing about the net, at least. Like Dana tuning in from the Czech Republic. See? Maybe she has no idea what we're going to be talking about. Maybe there's a different world over there than there is here. Still needs to be said, because it's going to come to a city near you if it isn't already. Oops, speaking of, literally, but in a good way, that was scary timing. It's like you're psychic. April says, yep, Absolutely, 100%. So, the title of the video will be Things That Really Need to Be Said, or some such, and I will say them unabashedly, unapologetically, and angrily. I will say to the people who need to hear it what needs to be said that isn't being said, and I'll say it proudly because I am not too old to have an opinion, and I'm not too young to not understand what I'm talking about. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be good. It's going to be a rant of all rants, a rave of all raves, and it might even make some people explode. Dana, how are you doing, and how's the weather where you are? Hope you're doing well. Hope you find yourself happy and peaceful and well-to-do. But I do have to be somewhere Friday, so the Friday night show is going to have to be on Saturday, followed by the Sunday Bible study. Unless y'all want me to come in at like midnight on Friday. I don't think so. I'll be tired because I'll have done a show. April says, yes, absolutely 100%. MVTV says, I mentioned Dana and she manifests. Let me try some others. Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot. Nope. Penelope Cruz. Penelope Cruz. Lucy. Lucy. Here, my cat Lucy. That is. Sigh. Well, if you're referring to Lucy as in Scarlett Johansson in that stupid movie, yes, please. If you're referring to Lucy and as in, hey, Lucy, I'm home, yes, please. I like redheads. Nothing wrong with that. Dana says, it is a typical summer here. Here, too. Hot and rainy. But I got something that nobody else has in this whole world right now. You. And I'm lucky to have it. And possibly Gal Gadot. That'd be nice. Lucy Lawless. Yes, please. 20 years ago. Not now. Now she looks like a fat lizard. April says, that's okay. I'm getting CJ Saturday night. I'll be picking him up Saturday. Yay! Does that mean you're not going to be here Saturday? Or there Saturday? You're going to miss the rant? You might just want to watch it and have your fingers in his ears. Stop and pick up some earmuffs on your way home. Or some noise-canceling headphones. I'll be on, says April. Good deal. Lucy Lawless. Or whatever she did. Single-handedly made popular the round boomerang. Aerodynamics be damned. I'll see your Delta Wing, and I'll raise you a circle, baby. Heck, Lucille Ball was quite the stylish dame in her younger years. When in old mystery flicks, etc. Yep, she was quite good-looking, quite fetching. I'll have to wear my BT headphones, LOL. Yeah, that's a good deal. Make it work. Where, I mean. I got you. I read typo E's. It's okay. Speaking of TV shows, has anybody caught that interview that Tucker Carlson did with Andrew Tate? It's quite illuminating. Very interesting. About 2 hours long, though. But very good. If you haven't seen it, go over to twitter.com/Tucker Carlson and watch his latest video. It's very informative. I'd never kill myself, by the way. ATL says, was it with the Heritage Club? I don't know. What's the Heritage Club? Is that the place you want me to give a bad review to? MBTV says, LL, Lucy Lawless had a recurring role in Battlestar Galactica as well. The newer one that I must admit is some of the best science fiction I've seen. Cowboys 8 panel. Do I have to? Yeah, only if you want to. Welcome to the show. April says, oh yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah, it's good. It's a good interview. Hello, Cowboys 8 panel, says April. Good to see you. Cowboy hat, claps, and hearts. Cowboy has claps because he fell in love with the wrong girl. That's what that whole thing says. 2,000 years ago, we spoke in hieroglyphics or wrote in hieroglyphics. 2,000 years later, we're basically using the same language. A bunch of pictures. OMG, says April. Cowboy 8 panel says, hi, everyone. Hi. How are you? Good to see you. So which one do you not like, Cowboys 8 panel? Tucker Carlson or Andrew Tate? Either way, I would encourage everyone to watch that interview because you'll learn some stuff you didn't know before. Cowboys 8 panel says, I'm an old lady dancing. I hear you. At least you can dance. You could be like me and have 2 left feet and an arm. Cowboys 8 panel says, Tucker, you were saying. Yep. Over on twitter.com/Tucker Carlson, there's a new interview where he flew to Romania because Andrew Tate's on house arrest for human trafficking. And the reason I put that in quotes is because there's some discrepancy as to what he's actually been charged with and why. And all of that is illuminated in that interview. I think it'd be eye-opening, to say the least. April says, Tucker is the man. He's really the truth. Well, he's trying. He's doing a lot better than most people are in that business. That's for sure. And I, for one, am a fan. But I have been since he started, back when Bill O'Reilly got canned. And I like Bill O'Reilly, but he's a little creepy. I'll give him that. Aw. Stars and flowers to April Rain from Cowboys 8 panel. Dana says, I don't know any of those 2 people you mentioned, Jake. Are they politicians? No, Tucker Carlson was a news anchor on Fox News for the last 5 or 6 years. And he got fired because he was talking about January 6th openly and telling the truth. And people in the higher-ups did not like that very much. And he was also talking about things that were going on in the election. And some other news anchors had said some stuff about the election that wasn't true. And the voter machine people sued Fox News for like $80 million or something like that. And one of their stipulations in the lawsuit was that they had to fire Tucker Carlson because he was having a lot of reach. He's one of the most popular nighttime talk people there is. He's just killing it in the ratings. So they got rid of him. And then he started his own show on Twitter, and Fox has been trying to tear him down ever since, and he just refuses to shut up. He's out there saying what he thinks, kind of like the news, only it's a lot shorter than his news show was. It's like 15, 20 minutes long usually. But this interview with Andrew Tate, who is a YouTube influencer that got popular the last couple of years for telling men to be men and to have principles and standards and to take care of themselves and try to be wealthy, which puts you in a position where you tend to say no to things that people try to shove down your throat and the establishment doesn't want that. So both of these men are being systematically trying to be shut down by the government and by other affiliated associates. And both of them are kind of outlaws at the moment, and both of them have some pretty interesting things to say. And if you're into that kind of thing, you'll really like that interview. And if not, I was talking to other people. But eventually I'll talk about something you do like. But neither one of them are politicians. And the other guy is creepy, says Cowboys 8 Pound. I can see why you think that. Although I would add that most of the reason he's creepy is because of what the media says about him. Not that there's anything particularly wrong with him, but he is a millionaire, and he did get that way by using camera girls. So there's a little creep there, yeah. But he's very smart, very articulate, and what he's saying makes a lot of sense. So check it out if you wish. ATL says, I have the last 5 episodes on the DVR of Tucker. Of his show or of his Twitter thing? Because if you've got the show, the Fox show, you can go back and watch it, and you can see the moment where he gets fired. You can see what he said that got him fired. And you'll be shocked. MVDV says, he also spoke of his strong faith, which many believe was the final straw. The scamp. Yep, that too. He's like Jordan Peterson telling young men to be men and be faithful and be honorable and have dignity and work hard and be successful and be a above average male so that women want you. That's the message. So go figure. Albeit for me, who would never want to be with a female, to even think such thoughts. But I kind of agree. ATL says, I watched every one of his shows. Me too. I liked Tucker. I liked him because he said things that other people didn't say. His Fox show. Got it. April said, they did it that day. Yes, the day he said what he said, they fired him that day. While it was actually the next day, he was getting ready to go on air. He was sitting in the studio preparing to go live, and they walked in and canned him. Said there's not going to be a show tonight. So he was quite surprised by it. Having women want you is a curse, says ATL. I have had to turn so many away, and it hurts me to see them depressed. Oh. You're just a king among men, are you? Well, I'm ugly, but I own my own home, and I'm hung like a mule, and I ride a Harley Davidson. So, ladies, a little mule, but a mule nonetheless. ATL says it's terrible. Well, as a rock star, I can agree with that. However, I don't like seeing them come at me, but I hate to see them go. Or I hate to see them come, but I love to watch them go, or something like that. I don't know. You figure it out. April says, ha-ha. I'm just at the point where I don't want to play that game anymore, that's all. I don't like to chase women. I know that's the thing, that's the goal. Women want you to chase them until they catch you. But I just don't want to play that game anymore. I don't like lying to women, so I'm not going to do it. I don't like chasing women, so I'm not going to do it. I don't like being deceptive, so I'm not going to do it. You either want me or you don't. And if you don't, I can handle myself. Nobody does it like I do, by the way. So, you know. ATL says, let me have my dreams, April. MVDV says, not every mule can or will. Lost it. Got nothing. It's a little mule, but a mule nonetheless. Yeehaw. You know what I'm saying? I've got 9 out of the 10 things women want. That's all I can say. 8 out of the 10 things. 8 out of the 10 things that women want, I have. 2 things I'm severely lacking in. I'm not 6 foot tall, and I'm not good looking. Other than that, I got everything you could possibly want, including making you laugh. MVTV says, I got to the point that women now won't immediately pull out their mace or pistols. Well, that's good. You don't want that reaction. I think you're trying to go the other way. The dating thing is a little weird now because now you got to ask permission for everything, which I don't want to do, so I'm not going to do that. So I bowed out. But I can't imagine how painful it must be to try and date somebody in today's world. How uncomfortable, how unsexy it must be. Cowboys 8 panel says, so the butter is chumming on the land? I don't know what you mean by that. April says, okay, dreams are great when they're good. The butter is chumming on the land. Could you be more specific? I don't think I quite caught that joke. I recognize that it's supposed to be a joke. I just don't know the meaning. MVDV says, funny. I got this ring-neck pheasant out there I thought was Phineas, but is a strange one. It sees me and is crouching down, pretending to be invisible. I get that a lot. Yeah, me too. Or I'll make eye contact and they'll immediately look away because they're just terrified by my testosterone. I don't know what's happened to this world. When I was a young man, they called that romantic. Now they call it stalking. Go figure. Apparently, and I'd learned this by watching clips of the Little Mermaid remake, men are not supposed to make the first move, and I always thought that the girls thought that was sexy when a man took charge and made the first move. That's what I've always been told. That's what I've always seen. But apparently that's not the case anymore. Apparently now you have to ask permission, which takes the sex right out of it. Listen, ladies, join me Saturday because I got some things to say about sex and the offering of it or the lack thereof. That's one of the things. There's many things I'm going to talk about, but that's one of them. Can't say it here, though, so I won't. But just know this. I'll give you a preview. If you're not open for business, why are you advertising? You can't have your cake and eat it too. I realize that expression means nothing because you literally have to eat the cake if it's yours. But my point remains. You can't be sexy and not give up the sex. If you don't want to give up the sex, stop trying to be sexy. Because that's what that means. Why do you think you're being sexy? For you? No. Why do you think women wear lipstick and rouge? Why do you think women wear high heels? So that they're off balance and can barely walk and they look like they've been punched in the face. It's a defense mechanism. It causes men to be attracted, like prey to a wounded animal. Predators to a wounded animal. That's the same psychological reason. You can't be sexy if you're not going to give up sex. And if you're not willing to give up the sex, stop thinking about being sexy. Be conservative. Cover up. That's all I'm going to say about that. April says, yes, I like when the eye action gets to mesmerizing and deep thought and the excitement, butterflies in your stomach. LOL. Yes, that's what I thought. MVTV says, like a live turkey spray painted with bright colors trying to hide in the low grass. Totally invisible if I was blind, right? Dana says, wow, I posted 2 comments, yet I don't see them here. That's not good. That's not good at all. Maybe this video has already been censored. ATL says, I don't know why it doesn't work. I don't either. MVDV says, so you want women to walk around without bathing or combing their hair? I like my women attractive, and I don't immediately assume they're calling out for that. Attractive is not sexy. Attractive is attractive. To attract and possibly sexy later. You see, there's a difference. This is getting lost in this world that we live in today. But there is a difference. You can be chaste and be attractive. You can attract my attention with your eyes. I don't need to see your titties unless you're willing to share them. See the difference? Cowboys 8 Pounds says, my chat was acting strange also. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And no, I haven't gotten an error, ATL. Try going up to live chat. Make sure you're on live chat. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to post a comment, but I hope that you can work that out. You mentioned lipstick. Where's the line between trying to look nice and having others assume? I know what you say when it gets extreme, of course. All right. Here's the thing. Lipstick was invented to put red on your face. Now there's a lot of other colors, of course. Why do you think women wear lipstick? Ask a woman. Ask any woman in this chat why they would wear lipstick. I can tell you what I think. Obviously, there's some consideration going on into attracting the opposite sex. They don't wear lipstick for themselves. Lipstick is not comfortable, by the way. If you don't believe me, go buy some and put it on. And when you get tired of having your face feel like there's grease all over it, you'll understand. Makeup is not comfortable. It clogs your pores. It makes you hot. Lots of things. But they put it on religiously. And some of them don't even know why they're doing it because they've been taught to do it their whole lives. Why do you think women used to wear pantyhose? They don't do it anymore, but they used to. There's a reason for that, because it hides the fact that they can't shave their legs properly in those days. Makes their legs sleek and smooth, which is attractive to males, not females. Ask any woman who's ever wore a high heel shoe if they like it. You'll get all kinds of answers. Most of them will say it makes my butt look good, or I like the way I walk when I'm wearing high heels. But what they're saying is, I like the appearance it gives me to other people. Now, what is the reason for that appearance? Everything, and I mean everything. The reason men work, the reason women go out, the reason everybody does everything is about sex when you get right down to it. May not always be exactly the act of sex, but it's about being put in that position. That's why people do the things they do. That's why people go to war. That's why people fight. That's why people argue. That's why people love. That's why people hate. It's all there. Listen to any song that's ever been written. It's all about love. Any movie. There's only 3 movies that's ever been made, and they're all Shakespeare. 7 movies, not 3. My point remains. People do things to attract other people. And if you're not selling, you shouldn't be advertising. That's my philosophy. That's a right-wing belief, but I do think that. You might disagree with that. But the answer is in your statement. What did you say to me first? I like my women attractive. Where's the line? Why do you like your women attractive? How are they your women? When did they become your women? Are you assuming that you might have a chance with those women or not? Or is it strictly platonic? Because if it is, it doesn't matter if they comb their hair or not, or put on makeup, and which I didn't say anything about combing hair or taking a bath. But anyway, Dana says, I never wear lipstick. It looks like a clown. Yes, but what kind of clown? April says, that's funny, MVTV. ATL says, by fallen angel, ... It was taught to women by a fallen angel, says ATL. That's entirely possible, but I don't know. What I do know is there's a reason women do those things, and it ain't because it's comfortable. ATL says, no, MVTV says, like this traveling nurse that looked like a walking hooker, had a bright kiss tattoo on her always low-cut shirt. Had all the men hypnotized, me included. All the women loathed her, pretty obvious. Yeah. Why do you think that when there's a group of women and another woman walks in the room that's more attractive than them, the immediate assumption is she's a slut? Ask a woman if I'm wrong. Why do you think they resort to using that slur about a woman they don't like? Almost inevitably, almost always, if a woman don't like another woman, the word hoe or slut will come out of their mouth at some point directed at that other woman. Why? Why that slur? Because she's promiscuous. That's what they're insinuating. More promiscuous than we are. We're here. She's doing better. Why do you think women have that kind of dichotomy? I'm just asking questions. I don't know the answers to any of these things. Abel says, yes, and it makes your lips look great. For who? For you? Do you care if your lips look great? I don't. But other people might, especially if they have a chance of kissing them. It's all Brooke Shields' fault, says Cowboys 8 Panel. You might be right there. That may be so. April says, yep. MVTV says, she was quite a tart, too. Long story short, I ended up at her house one night after getting lured there from the bar, along with the pharmacist who thought he was Superfly. And she wanted us both. Imagine that. And what was it you said first attracted you to her? Was it her lipstick? Or her kiss tattoo, which incidentally is a mouth with lipstick on it? I think I'm proving myself right here. April says, it's important to look your best and keep smiling. Why? For who? For what purpose? MVTV says, but thank the Lord, I swear it's true. I heard that. Imagine the scene with that pharmacist. Began laughing and passed out till the next day. I was very drunk and grateful the next day, I bet. April says, you're right, Jake. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Fab Daddy says, I've had to wear makeup before. Did you like it? Cowboys 8 Panel says, Dana says, it's very interesting. Many women are trying to look like somebody else, like some movie star. It is interesting, isn't it? Why do you think they like to look like those movie stars? What is it about those movie stars? What intrinsic value do they have that these girls want to emulate? For example, what does Kanye West's, the Kardashians have that girls want to emulate? Could it be that thick ass on that sex tape? I'm wondering. They forget that the real beauty is in the nature of who you really are. That's my point. That's something I'd like to see more of, is the personality rather than the facade. I don't mind the facade. I just want people to be aware of what it is, because I think that's getting lost through time. I think women genuinely don't know today that putting on lipstick is to resemble being slapped in the mouth so you look wounded. I think they genuinely don't understand that. I think they have been taught to think that it has something to do with presentability or beauty, but it doesn't, because women are beautiful first thing in the morning. That's when they're beautiful. I don't care how much crap you put on your face. You can't fake that. Anyway, who you really are inside, that's what's important. But if there's no sexual attraction, who you are inside doesn't matter, because you're never going to get along with a person, because there needs to be sexual attraction. That's what causes people to come together. All I'm saying is, and I'm not against sexual attraction or sex. I'm not against it. In fact, I'm for it. I'm pro-sex. I'm just saying be aware of what you're doing, and I'm not even talking to you specifically. I'm just talking about my beliefs of the subject. So don't think I'm getting on to anybody. I'm just saying that we have forgotten as a society what makes societies work in every situation. Sex is just one of them. For example, now they're putting books in grade school that teach children how to give oral sex and anal sex and what beads are and different toys. That's in school libraries right now. That's not the age you should be learning about those things. 30 is when you should be learning about those things, not 14 or 8. April says, OMG, LOL, smiley and kissy faces. Fab Daddy says, all Army guys wear makeup, not to spur the opposite sex. That's not makeup, that's camouflage. It's a different thing. But not all that dissimilar. Very similar reasons for doing the same thing, if you think about it. May not be to attract the opposite sex, but it's definitely to make someone see something that isn't there, or not see something that is there. It's a trick, that's what I'm saying. It's a psychological trick. What is the psychology being played on in this particular instance when we're talking about female makeup? Sex. Why do you think all makeup commercials are sexy? All of them. All of them are shot like porns. Think about it. Just think about it. April says, for others who look up to you. Cowboys 8 Pound says, yep, I enjoyed the Rolling Stones. Me too. I play a lot of their music. Cowboys 8 Pound says, power to reproduce. That's right. It's a powerful, powerful agent of change. And if women truly understood the power that they possessed, and I'm talking to ladies here, so you know I'm telling you the truth, because I know you ain't thought about it this way. Or maybe you have, but most likely not. If you truly understood what you possessed, you could rule the world, because every man alive would do your bidding if you just hinted at maybe the possibility of, might happen, we might get laid. And we'll do anything you want us to do. That's just the nature of humanity. Why isn't more people doing that, I wonder? How can you call this a patriarchy when women hold the power? There's not a man alive that can possess that kind of strength. I can't say ladies and watch them fall in line. I can't do that. But you can. Wonder why you don't. I wonder why it feels wrong to do that. I wonder what makes that stop from happening. Because it could happen very easily. If every woman just decided, I'm going to give away ass for favors, the world would be in your hands. But it's immoral. I wonder where that comes from. Could that be a backhanded, slightly off proof of God? I think maybe. MVTV says, I painted my toenails with glitter, but only because it makes me feel pretty. Nothing weird or boastful. Useless, I think. Some cats, rabbits, Angus, or pheasants would be impressed. MVTV, if you need to feel pretty, I strongly suggest you stop eating the ice cream and yogurt and go get a steak right now and get some mud and put it on your shirt and fart and scratch and get the hell away from whatever it is your soybean-addled body has been ingesting quickly, because you are losing your manhood, sir. Fab Daddy says, yes, it hid my 5 o'clock shadow. The makeup? What kind of army are you talking about, sir? Are you talking about like the YMCA kind of army? Or are you talking about like G.I. Joe kind of army? Dana says, they are brainwashed by the phony glamour, quote, presented to them every day. It is a mental garbage in its best. I agree with you, Dana. I do think that the beauty standards are forced on young girls by Teen Vogue magazine and movies and movie stars and that heroin chic look that this girl looks sick and wounded. That's not what you should be aspiring to. Yet they do. I wonder why. I'm not making any affirmative statements here. I'm just asking questions that everybody should be asking or have asked at some point. MVTV says, or the foundational work, This Book is Gay, where they literally describe eating excrement. Damn, that was hard enough to type. I must have missed your first point. Nope. But you're talking about the books that are in school, and yes, there's a book that has the word queer in the title, and there's that one. And there's a lot of other books that are being put into libraries of grade schoolers. They shouldn't be reading those things. And I'm not talking about censoring books here. I'm talking about protecting innocence. Yes, you should be able to have those books. Yes, they should be published. No, they should not be in my child's school library for them to just happen upon or be directed to by some teacher who doesn't understand the boundaries between parent and teacher. That's what I'm saying. Fab Daddy says, I also wore makeup on stage. 2 lipstick dots on the inside corners of my eyes helps your eyes look further apart. Also makes you look like you got herpes. Or wall-eyed. But hey, you do you, boo. I'm all right with that. I'm not going to do it, but I'm all right with that. I've worn makeup too. I used to get professional pictures taken of me, and I'm talking real makeup, like minerals. But I don't think anybody doubts my sexuality, and if they do, they're not paying attention. Cowboys 8 panel says 100%. Fab Daddy says, and played the role of Lurch with black lipstick and shadowed eyes. I bet you were sexy. Wonder why you'd think that when talking about putting on makeup. It's interesting, isn't it? MVTV says, I am forever grateful to have spent my younger years surrounded by women at work, nurses, and for the most part being the only male. I was scared of women, too, but I learned fast. I have no confusion. Well, most men are scared of women. And that's a reality that women need to face because they don't know that. I don't think they know that. I don't think they know that the moment you meet a man, all he's thinking, his whole brain power is thinking, don't be stupid, say something clever. Don't be stupid, say something clever. And the worry that he's going to turn you off and push you away is so great that some people succumb to that pressure and just say nothing. Some people get scared or shy or bashful. It's painful. It's brutal. And nobody, and I mean nobody, gives a damn whether you have feelings or not. Nobody cares. Don't cry. Suck it up. Be a man. That's how you're treated. Being a man is hard. And I don't think women know that. And I think they probably should have somebody tell them that at some point. And also men should know what women are thinking. Because I think that would change the dynamic a little bit. Dana says, people are blinded by the fake glamour and slowly forget that the most important is character with great attributes like integrity, dignity, honor, and decency. Amen, Dana. Very good. You get the point. You get what I'm trying to say here with my diatribe. And probably poorly executed at that, but you're getting what I'm laying down. You're getting the pipe I'm laying, baby. Wait a minute. Forget that I said that. April says, everybody hit that like button, subscribe, share, loves, and I understand. You forgot something very important in that statement there, April. Maybe the most important. You forgot to say, VJ, now I lay me. Yeah. Cowboys 8 panel says, boop. It's hard on us all, says April. I agree with you. And I think it's intentionally so. I think God designed it that way so that people wouldn't just be free for all banging in the streets. But I think that there have been roadblocks placed on natural attraction, on people that are naturally coming together. There are so many things in the way that I don't think it's happening more. I don't think young people are having sex anymore. Not like we did in our day. I don't think they are. And I think that's a travesty. And I'll tell you why. Because if young people don't have sex, if even by half as much as we did, at some point, there's going to be more old people than there are young people, and society will collapse. The only way to keep going is to make babies. That's what's happening in China right now. They had that one-child policy, that one-female policy. Well, they really bit the bullet on that one, didn't they? Because now there's nobody to sleep with because there's 10 men to every one woman. And guess what's happening? Almost the whole country is old people. Very few young people. Very few women. That's not good. That's bad. That's the opposite of God's idea. So that's why I'm talking about it. MVTV says, last hospital job in Helena, I traveled on a 3-night trip over to another town for a nurse's wedding. Shared a hotel room each night. Treated me like a mascot. It was fun, if not unfulfilling. Yeah, it's bad when you get friend-zoned. That's the real word for what you're saying. You were friend-zoned. That means you're not getting laid. That's a bad place to be. April says, feed Jake, please. Yes, please. I could use it. But, you know, you do you. But I appreciate it. Thank you. MVTV says, didn't mention there were 6 to 7 other nurses on that trip in a big van. I think I absorbed enough feminine energy that really warmed my cockles. Don't warm your cockles near women. That's creepy. Just being with them was a blast. Yes, women can be fun. I have no desire to be friends with a woman. Zero. And I'll tell you why. Because that means I'm not going to get laid. And that's important to me. Because I like making babies. And you should too. That's not to say I won't be friendly with a woman. I will be. But I had a girl started calling me a while back. A friend of my sister's knew me and decided she wanted to be buddies. And she would call me and gossip about her and her boyfriend and what all they were doing and ask me advice. And I played along for a little while. And then finally one day, she'd call me like 3 times a day. Finally one day she called me and I said, listen, you do realize that we're not friends, right? And she goes, what do you mean? I said, you understand that I'm a wolf and you're a sheep. You get that, right? I'm not trying to get in your pants. I'm not saying that. I just want you to understand that if the possibility arises, that's the avenue I'm going to take. I'm not your buddy. And by the way, you should be talking to your boyfriend because I'm not him. Well, needless to say, that friendship ended because she just wanted a gossip buddy, and I don't want to be a gossip buddy if there's nothing in it for me. I'll listen to you, sure. But why would I do that when I, number one, don't care, and number two, there's nothing happening in my direction? This is a one-sided friendship, and that's all that males and females can do. One-sided friendships or relationships. It doesn't have to be a sexual relationship, but we are programmed to be different things. We can't square peg, round hole, you see. So I can be friendly with you. I can be nice to you. I can be your friend. Don't think for 1 second, though, that I'm your buddy. Because if given the opportunity, I will have sex with you. Simple as that. That's male and female. And I think everybody instinctively knows that, just people don't want to say it because it's crass, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm just trying to put it out there that there are masculine and feminine energies, and they do different things. And we've forgotten that as a society, and it's bad for everyone. Look at Japan or China or whatever country it is. Yeah, I think you're right, Dana. I think it is Japan, but you got my point. I never claim to be correct on everything. I'm just getting the ideas out there. April says, oh, well, MVTV says, but these were great nurses that I respected and would not disrespect them. Well, that's good. I saved that for the ones that I targeted in the normal course of things. Wow. Memories. Damn it. Dana says, it's like that in Japan. The population of the old folks are slowly outnumbering the young. It's tragedy. And yes, if they don't change it, if somebody doesn't start putting out, that whole country is going to collapse. Because what happens when everybody gets too old? Then what? They die. Because that's the nature of humans. And if there's nobody coming in to take over for them when they get too old, guess what happens to their businesses and their homes and their roads and their infrastructure and everything? Falls apart because there's nobody there to replace it. There's nobody to learn from the older generation to do something they didn't know how to do before. That's the meaning of life. And it starts with a little spark between a man and a woman. And a man making the decision to push forward and try to get him some. That's where it starts. Truth be told, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Women are beautiful, and I don't blame you. Exactly. Women are beautiful, and it's correct to think that way. It's also, here's another interesting thing that I don't think women understand in today's society. Men are programmed to protect you. That's why you shouldn't be on the front lines of a battlefield, because if I'm trying to protect you, who's protecting the country or me? You see, you are a distraction because my job as a human being is to protect you. If women weren't so hard on men today, there would be no rape or very little, because a man don't put up with that shit. A man will find a rapist and beat him to death in the street. That's what he deserves. He doesn't deserve to be here. He is a fox in a hen house, and foxes in hen houses need to be shot. But every man is Me Too'd to death, and every natural instinctive relationship is called something, and men are terrified, and they just don't act that way anymore. Chivalry was important. And if you remove it because of feminism, you have a society that's more dangerous than it was before. If you are a woman and you are in my presence and somebody comes in with a gun, it's my job to stand between you and him. That's how men are programmed. We can't change that if we wanted to. It's in our DNA. Why would you want to change that? Because let me tell you something about feminism. Do you think there was any feminism on the Titanic? Or in a burning house? Or in Japan? Or anywhere there's trouble? Do you think feminism stands up? You would be surprised how fast feminism runs out the door when a trouble starts. You'll twist your little purple hair into ponytails and go, I'm just a girl. As that comedian said. Yes, that's true. You can be all pro-woman all you want. The minute trouble starts, you're all of a sudden a helpless little girl. Why? Because you're programmed to do that too. That's how you're programmed. You couldn't change it if you wanted to. It may be something you don't like about yourself. I can't speak to that. I know there's people that feel that way. But you can't change a leopard's spots. And you can't change the nature of men and women, no matter how bad you want to. Ta-da-ta-ta-ta-ta. Jake is on a roll. Women. MVTV says, women friends are great, Jake. I feel sorry for you if that's immutable for you. Having them at your side in emergencies, etc., is impressive. I never said that I couldn't be friends with a woman. What I said was I'm not your buddy. We're not that kind of friend. There is space between us. I'm never going to come to your house and do your hair while you tell me about your boyfriend's newest fling or whatever. It's never going to happen. If you get me in a room alone with you, I'm going to make a move because that's what I do if I'm attracted to you. I may not be attracted to you. And then if that's the case, nothing will happen. Don't ever make the mistake of thinking I'm not a wolf. That's what I said. Yes, I've got lots of girlfriends, but they are girlfriends. And if I should choose to, they can be more. And all of them understand that I'm not their buddy. So you see the difference? I'm not saying that I can't be friends with girls. I'm saying that men and women as a rule, generally speaking, and I'm not talking to anybody specific, generally speaking, cannot be just friends because there's always an attraction. If you are a girl and you have a friend who is male, I promise you with 100% certainty that he's thought about sleeping with you and would if you allowed him to. I promise. Unless he's gay or there's something wrong with him, I promise you he's thought about it. Don't make the mistake of thinking he didn't think about it. Don't make the mistake of thinking he's so virtuous that he would never take advantage, because he will. In fact, I'll go so far as to say this, and it's nothing new. Other people have said it on the internet before, but I'll say it because it fits this conversation. If you have a friend who is a white knight, and you know what that phrase means, a male feminist. If you have a friend who claims to be a male feminist, you can start the clock on the rape charge because it's coming. I promise you the only reason he's a male feminist is because it gets him closer to women. I promise you. There's no such thing. That's a vampire. Beware of male feminists, ladies. Beware. Write it down that I said so. You got to catch them, says ATL. Yeah. Truth be told, says April, good to see ya, girl. Much love. Hello, truth be told, says April. Good to see you, too. April says, much love. ATL says, you got to set up traps like nets, and you catch them down by the watering hole. Yeah, that's right. Dana says, exactly, Jake. Man is a natural protector of his loved ones, and not just his loved ones, but total strangers. I have that instinct to protect any female or child that I'm around, whether I know them or not, because that's the kind of man I am. because I was raised to feel that way. And in my day, that there was expressions like women and children first, man on the battlefield, things like that. Chivalry. All that stuff still existed when I was growing up. It don't exist anymore. If you go and look, you will recognize that this world is very different than it was even 20 years ago. Very different. There are a different set of rules being played by, and it's dangerous for young ladies. But I agree with you. April says yes. April says some. I hate it when my chat jumps. Also, it's 10:30. Wow. What a conversation. MVTV says, it's also effing great to get close with strong, educated, capable, and beautiful women with zero issue of that hanging over heads. Don't get me wrong. I fell in love constantly, but only so much to sex. Well, see, you contradicted yourself in that statement. It's great to get so close to a woman without sex being over your head. Don't get me wrong, I fell in love every time, or so much so to sex. Huh? Do you even hear yourself? I think that you are virtuous enough to avoid wanting to have sex with a woman because she's your friend. I don't think that's how it would actually play out if you were together alone in the dark, in skimpy clothing, and a fire was burning, and there was a pleasant aroma in the air, and you were giggling and talking and having a good time together, and you got a little close on the floor, and next thing you know, you're in her, because that's how it works. April says, I'm more masculine. I'm always ready and alert. You're not masculine, honey. I seem to recall a few memories. You are not masculine. You are very feminine, and you're beautiful, and very, very desired. Or at least you were. I hadn't seen you in 10 years, so. I mean, you could be a wreck, but I doubt it. I think you got it going on. April says, now Dana says, the feminazis are absolutely repulsive creatures. They are destroying young girls without mercy. Yes, they are. And somebody needs to protect those young girls. I have one. My daughter just turned 18, and I'm terrified for the world she lives in. I'm terrified because she doesn't recognize it for what it is. She recognizes it for the propaganda that's been put in her head, and it's all wrong. It's all wrong. She's going to be laying on the floor with some person who is looking at her like in the cartoons when you're on a boat in the middle of the ocean and your buddy turns into a ham hock and you're like, somebody's going to be looking at her that way, and she's not going to see it until it's too late and she's pregnant. I'm just saying, watch out. Be careful what you wish for. You might get it. April says, LOL, I understand what you're saying, Jake Love. Thank you, dear. Dana says, the feminists are absolutely repulsive creatures. They are destroying young girls without mercy. I read that one already. It's in there twice. That's why I read it. Okay. Truth Be Told says, April, if it's just lust, it won't last. You have to be able to be around that person every day. I agree. I'm not saying anything about relationships. I'm just talking about initial sex drive. I'm just talking about the instantaneous programming of men and women. I'm not even talking about people that know each other. I'm just talking about reactions. But you're absolutely right. If you don't have more than sex to build a relationship on, it'll crumble after the sex goes away, and it always goes away. But the sex is important. If you don't have that, you don't have anything. But if you have that, now you got to become friends. Which is counterintuitive to everything I just said, but it's cart before the horse is what I'm saying. MVTV says, I hear myself. I was admitting the attraction, but yes, I've declined it at times for the better of us both. I have more control than eventually turning into Hyde as a matter of course. I'm not suggesting that you would turn into Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. What I'm suggesting is the impulse is there. If it's not there, then your brain ain't working right. Or your Some part of you ain't working right if that impulse is not there. Of course you can control it. And just like I was telling that girl on the phone, I can control it. I'm not trying to get in your pants. I'm not hitting on you. I'm not suggesting you're in danger around me. I just want you to understand who we are as people. I am not your buddy. I'm a wolf and you're a sheep. And given the opportunity, wolves do what wolves do to sheep. That's all I'm saying. I'm not hitting on you. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just telling you who we are so that you understand the dynamic of what you're asking me to engage in. Because she called me, I didn't call her. My first thought was she wanted to sleep with me because she kept calling me. What does that tell you? When I realized that she thought I was her gossip buddy, I made it clear. I'm not putting in that kind of time for a gossip buddy. If you want to call me 3 times a night, I should be your boyfriend. See? That's all I meant by that. Cowboys 8 said, ugh. Is this sex talk getting to you, honey? I'm sorry. I'm on a roll. I'm getting ready to end. I'm just trying to get through the chat. April says, yes, true, but I'd rather do things myself. I have always been independent. Yes, well, that's good. That means you're able to bring something to the table when somebody finally does catch your eye and settles you down. That means that you will be a worthy partner. That's good. There's no wrong in that. Being independent is awesome. Dana says, I'm sorry. I repeated my comment again because I didn't see it the first time I posted it. I got you. Yeah, I think the chat's acting funny for some reason. MVTV says, there's been several times when Jake reads a comment and I don't see it myself in chat, like Dana's last one. Yep. It was there twice, though. April says, you scared her away. You scared her away, Jake. I sure did. And I meant to, because I realized that she didn't recognize what she was walking into. That was me being chivalrous, because I could have just lured her right on in and took advantage. I could have took her right away from her boyfriend if I wanted to. But I didn't. I didn't try to do that. I'm not boasting. I'm saying a person with less scruples would have allowed that to continue. And I wanted to clear the air so that she understood. That was my point. But yeah, it scared her away all right. And I'm glad it did, because otherwise it'd have been a faulty relationship from the get-go, because there'd have been differences of expectations. And that's never good. You should always know where you stand, ladies. Don't ever enter into a relationship that hasn't clearly been articulated to you as to what is expected of you, because you might be getting it wrong. And the other person might be expecting some stuff, especially if you believe in being sexy. He might be expecting something you aren't ready to lay down yet. And if that's the case, the power dynamic is wrong in that relationship, and it needs to stop because you're in danger. That's my point. Ugh was about your 18-year-old. Oh, my daughter? Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ, it's terrifying. Yeah, I can't stop thinking about that, because she's very pretty and she's very strong, but she's also very gullible, and it terrifies me. Jesus. Lord, please watch over my children. Keep them safe, keep your hands on them, and keep them out of the craziness of this world. Thank you, Lord. April says, I am a worthy partner, loyal, honest, true, respectful, funny, beautiful, and oh, I do still have it. I thought you were going to say, and I put out. That would have been funny, but I got you. You do still have it. Beautiful, intelligent, talented, charming, and horny. Beautiful, intelligent, talented, charming, horny. B-I-T-C. What did I just do there? Believe me, I know, says April. If it would end well, I'd march right over to where my first love lives, south of Helena, by all insane things, bust in the door and take her out with zero thought of her current husband. Jesus, that's rough. I thought that was going somewhere else, but you went 0 dark 30 on me, didn't you? Terrifying. Don't do that. April says, spelled Kevin's name, LOL. I hear you. Cowboys 8 Panels says, LOL, I get it. All right, it is 10:42 and I'm tired and I got to pee, so I love you guys. Thank you so much for putting up with my rant tonight. I'm in a rare mood. I apologize, but it just comes out of me sometimes. Anyway, don't believe a word I'm saying. I'm totally off base on everything I put forward tonight. I couldn't possibly have any wisdom. Look at me. I don't even have gray hair. Have a great night. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you for keeping the chat honest. Thank you for keeping it popping. Thank you for keeping it interesting. I love you all, and I can't wait to see you on Saturday over on rumble.com/UntetheredLive. Have a great night. Take care of yourselves and each other. And Dana says, let's pray for the little innocent children. They got it really tough today in this perverse school system. Amen, sister. They sure do. MVTV says, good evening, good peace, good pace tonight. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Glad to hear you. Glad to hear your trumpeting. Thank you. I'm working on it. Dana says, heart back at you. Stay safe, stay wise, stay protected, and make babies if you can. Have a great night. April says, I enjoyed the conversation. I love the positivity, Jake. Mwah! You're the best. Thank you, sweetheart. I love you all. Have a great night. Thanks for watching.